Hey guys, welcome today to today's podcast of the three podcasters walk into a bar. Ever had that uncle that just made you cringe when he said, I got a joke about these three guys walking into a bar? Well, I got the two other guys and three of us are podcasters. So there you go. My name's Stu Turley, President CEO of the Sandstone Group. My podcast is the Energy News Beat. And I get the pleasure of introducing David Blackman, the one and only David Blackman. Look at him. He's waving over there. And he is a Forbes contributing author. He has two podcasts, The Energy Question and Energy Transition International Version. Welcome, David. Thank you.
Hey, thank you, man. It's a beautiful day in Texas, isn't it?
It is. Normally, I say it's a beautiful day in the neighborhood on mine, but then again, I'm old enough to remember that. And then we have the RT. Mr. Trevino is actually out on a well site. He's on location. This is only the second day this year he's worked. And he's out there having a safety briefing on the tailgate. He's got a tailgate meeting going on as well going on there. And he's got a podcast named The Crude Truth. RT, welcome. And we're glad you're working today.
Oh, thank you guys. As always, a hello out there to everybody. And yes, no, I'm out here in North Texas on some of our leases. We're preparing for some visits and also preparing for another bout of cold weather here in the great state of Texas. So we're prepared.
Hey, before we got started, RT, you showed us some of your rig hands around there. He was huge.
That was Jeremy Tidrow, and yes, I think he's 6'5", and he's one of the small ones out here. And so there's a lot of meat and potatoes out here. And whenever I'm standing next to those guys, I don't feel quite as tall as I normally do. I can tell you that.
But, David, we were talking. Your head was still bigger than his.
Oh, today I'll get put in my place if I have a big head with so much knowledge out here in North Texas and all these guys out here, and it's just what they know. It really, really is awesome. So I'll make sure I have the best people out here always working with me. So if I have a big head, I guarantee you it'll be brought back down to Peggy too.
Oh, you bet. Hey, you were talking about a main story you were wanting a question on. What was your thought on that, RT?
Oh, yeah, no, I was reading another report the other day about how the IEA, the International Energy Agency, is speculating or predicting that we're going to be producing about 500,000 barrels less this year in 2023. And then yet they're expecting the demand to go up. I think it's almost 1 million barrels a day this year in 2023. And then they also then are telling us that, oil is going to be, below 90 this year for an average in 2023. And again, I just don't see how when you go to Economics 101 as a freshman in high school or a freshman in college, it's the same material either place. Freshman, English 101 or excuse me, Economy 101, that supply and demand, and that just does not jive with the fact that how are we going to have more demand and the price is going to be lower. So I kind of wanted to touch on that this morning and see what you guys were thinking about this IEA report.
Well, those things do not compute. Obviously, if you have demand rise by, I think they said 900,000 barrels a day was their latest prediction, and supply is going to increase by an average of 500,000 barrels a day, that means the product is going to become more scarce. And whenever any product becomes increasingly scarce, the price goes up, not down. So if the IEA's volume projections are right, its price projections are wrong. And it's as simple as that. And I frankly think their price projections are wrong. I think their volume projections are probably, fairly reasonable. But in that event, if those things happen, then the price is going up. And I think I agree that there's every reason to think the price will go up between now and May, June, July, when summer driving season kicks in. And we could even see $100 oil again in the next 60 to 90 days. So, as usual, the IEA isn't thinking real logically, and that unfortunately is a is a habit of that organization.
Did you call the IEA a political hack organization?
Well, I was nicer than that. I did not say that. Stu Turley said that, but I might have been thinking it.
Stu Turley was there going, they are a hack, is what I heard Stu Turley say.
Yes. Hey, over the weekend, I found out that I've been shadow banned on Twitter. So I opened up 4 new accounts. And I've also been banned by the UN, which is absolutely a, badge of honor. So, here I am. I'm about to get you guys banned as well, too. So,
boy, if the UN's after you, you better hide out in that cabin up in Oklahoma, Stu.
Yeah.
It's all right. I can reach out and touch them.
Yeah, Stu, it's that one right there at the intersection of Main and Avenue B, right there in Saskatchewan, Oklahoma. It's right. The one with the pink door, but that undisclosed location in Saskatchewan, Oklahoma.
Yes, that's it, RT. Yeah, right. Anyway, no, the fun thing about being in a zombie apocalypse bunker, it's not a problem. If the UN wants to stop by, they can.
Well, all right, let's go to hold on, wait. No, hold on. I want to get back to this for Twitter thing real quick. Like, I barely have one called the Crude_Truth. Okay, that's my Twitter account. I'm doing a little self promote there, trying to get a little bit more out there. I barely have time for that one, Stu. How do you have time for 4 new accounts on Twitter? Like, how does that work? Me and David each just have one.
I have my employees manage my accounts.
Okay. Man, I may need to get some help with that.
I have the greatest employees on the planet.
Bet they are great.
You bring up a great question. When you can ask any of them, what's their number one job?
Yeah.
Keep me from looking stupid. And they've got a full-time job just to get that.
That's a big lift.
That's a very big lift. In fact, I heard him trying to talk to Jeremy Tidrow because he knows he needs that more strength to keep him up, to keep him from looking more stupid. So,
hey, a man's got to do. I pay them big money just to keep me from being stupid.
Oh man!
But I better not let my wife hear this podcast because she knows.
Yeah.
Let's go to the next one here, David. Your energy absurdity of the day was a classic. I'm sorry. First I was reading this and I thought it was something about Bigfoot. And instantly I thought it was absolutely wonderful. I'm over here trying to go to your story, but it was not Sasquatch. It was Saskatchewan. Tell us what you were thinking.
Well, contrary to what RT just said a minute ago, Saskatchewan is not in Oklahoma. It's actually a province in Canada. And a reader named Brian Zinchuk, who has a website called pipelineonline.ca, which has a wealth of information about the energy situation up in Canada, sent me data put out by the manager of the Saskatchewan power grid called Sask Power, that tells an interesting story about the wind energy sector in Saskatchewan. Last week, Saskatchewan was having a winter storm, icy conditions, very cold temperatures, and on 4 of the 5 days during the week last week, the wind energy generation on the grid approached zero for 4 straight days. And on 2 of those days, Sask Power actually recorded negative numbers for wind generation on the grid. And how you get to a negative number for wind is that they didn't generate anything, but all the turbines were apparently frozen up. But it required 1 megawatt of power on the grid to thaw out the generator so that the turbines could actually turn. So they recorded negative 1 megawatts 2 straight days in Saskatchewan. And so what's the moral of this story? Well, the moral of this story is that wind power fails quite often, but it fails most miserably at the worst possible time, which is during winter storms and extreme summer heat. And if you think we're going to be able to replace reliable 24-hour a day generation capacity powered by natural gas, coal, and nuclear with intermittent energy coming from these windmills, you're living in a fantasy world, and we have to stop living in a fantasy world and start dealing with the world as it is, or we're all going to end up very soon without enough energy to heat our homes in the winter. So that's my tale for today.
Speaking of that, I got to interview Don Deers, and we released it. Let me tell you just a little bit of facts. In average electric prices per cents kilowatt hour in August average of 2003, and I'll have this in the show notes, this chart. And RT, if you can't read, I'll transcribe it on a audio book for you. Okay.
As long as it's got pop outs, as long as the audio book has pop outs.
Okay. So ERCOT was 9 cents, 9.16 cents in 2003. In 2019, it was 11.87, or 30% increase in power, and the amount of wind and solar added to the grid is 100% attributable to the increase in price. Wow. Anybody want to say that it's saving money and a lower cost?
I still have not, for any reason, I have not ran any positive numbers on anything as far as, and this is not really on the, well, let alone on the cost, on investing in wind turbines to put them. I haven't found any cost there, so, savings are,
Let me go here.
Okay. Okay.
Let's say
he's so excited.
I am. This was cool. I mean, he's a cool dude. But I didn't know this. And if we were going to go to 100% net zero by 2030, or 2050, the number of wind turbines rated at 2.5 megawatts to achieve net zero is 995,141. You think there's enough children in the world in the Congo to build enough materials for this? That's child abuse.
Yeah.
Anyway. Okay. So there are 28 years between 2022 and 2050. So the average number they have to build is 35,540. He gets a crayon out, and I mean, Don's good. He goes, the biggest year we've ever had was 5,680. So let's do another crayon math here that I'm working on. And the average lifespan of those is 8 years now, between the maintenance fees going up and becoming profitable. So my OSU, Oklahoma State math, is over here kind of going, we're going to need about 250,000 more. Anyway,
that's crazy. Those are crazy numbers. There's not enough metals in the world to build that many of those turbines. That's crazy numbers.
It's not, and I can't wait for the day for us to really kind of disagree on some things here and there. I think the biggest disagreement right now is the fact that I think we'll average $100 oil, and David thinks we'll average $90 oil in 2020. But so I want to go back to us agreeing is that over the weekend, David, you put out that great YouTube video of that representative from California.
Oh yeah, that's fantastic.
Really breaking down the renewables and how it's going to take a lot of fossil fuel as a drug, and I think that's a bad word. A lot of oil and natural gas to create all of that renewable energy. But then also what you said, and I think I requoted it this morning on a post on LinkedIn for our episode 12, which is that when Mother Nature is at its worst, renewables will fail every time. Getting back to the Saskatchewan, that it's like they are something that they cannot handle Mother Nature. And I think a prime example is, when you get out there on offshore drilling rigs and you see the waves and the storms, and those rigs are still standing there. Okay, they may not be on producing, but they are there standing proud and doing what they need to do during the great, beautiful Mother Nature. When we have these storms, these wind turbines fail and you can't get any solar. So right. I think right there it's just something great. So I'm looking forward to listening to that interview there, Stu.
Oh yeah, and I'm also forwarding, since you guys are also podcast hosts, I'm sending you his name, so introducing you.
Good deal. So that video RT was talking about was recorded. It was a recording of Representative Tom McClintock, a Republican from California, who was questioning a witness at a recent hearing about this witness was testifying against mining, permitting mines for metals in the United States. This witness also was advocating for electric vehicles. And the gist of the video, which can be found at my Substack, the address is blackman.substack.com. Be there or be square.
Say it again, David, because that is one of the best Substacks out there.
Blackman.substack.com. Please subscribe. You can subscribe for free and get some of the content. You can pay me money to get the rest. Anyway, so but it's got a little graphic that I found that describes the amount of metals that go into a single Tesla battery. And I want people to understand this. 20 pounds, this is one Tesla battery, requires 25 pounds of lithium, 60 pounds of nickel, 44 pounds of manganese, 30 pounds of cobalt, 200 pounds of copper, 400 pounds of aluminum, steel, and plastic. Okay, that's one Tesla battery. Now, you multiply that by millions, literally, of cars, of electric vehicles that the climate alarmists want to put on the road over the next 10 years. And you can see the incredible amount of metal we're going to have. Well, you can't have those metals without mining for it. Okay, folks? That's the cost. You're going to have a lot of new strip mines here in the United States and all over the world. For copper alone, you're going to need 330 new strip mines by 2033. Okay? So this is a big deal, and it's the cost of electric vehicles that nobody wants to talk about. But that's what it is, and you can't have one without the other. You just can't.
Hey, RT, because you're big head, I'm going to talk about this one here for just a quick sec. And that's there's two things. And in RT, you're out in West Texas right now, and in West Texas, those roads are tough because all the trucks across West Texas are just brutal. Think about how much money and oil is going to be required to replace roads with that extra heaviness going on. Think about that one. The other one that got me is the article I read this morning was a Hummer in the internal combustion was 6 tons, whatever the number is. And then a electric was 9 tons. I mean, whatever the number was, it was 3 extra tons in order to drive a EV. So that's one of the reasons. I believe it was Irina's. It was Irina's article. I think I was getting this from. She's smart. Go figure that out.
They're very heavy cars.
Heavy, and I'm sitting there kind of going, you put me in one and the road busts. Holy smokes.
David, I would definitely appreciate it. That chart you just spoke of, I think you need to put that one out there. I wouldn't mind even putting that one out there because hey man, that's the crude truth right there on what kind of a battery it takes to put in those Teslas. I mean,
yeah, I need to put it in on a tweet, I guess. Get it out there.
Put it out there, and because I mean that's really telling. I mean, here I am out here, and just like millions of other oil and gas guys, workers, trying to produce what we can produce for us, the American people, because you know what, we still need it for the roads. Stu's right. We still need, petroleum products to build the roads, the infrastructure here in America with this great, Inflation Reduction Act with all the infrastructure that was probably in that bill too. So I just think that it's, getting back to even talking about that YouTube video, that we are living in, once again, I'll say it, such an upside down world. Again, I am not against solar and I'm not against wind. I think they have their place. However, we need reliable freaking energy. And right now that comes from natural gas, oil, and coal. And with us being in the wintertime, we need to be able to heat our homes and cook food to keep ourselves warm. And that's just the important part to me right
Hey, great points, RT. David, I got a question for you because RT, I'm a little confused on natural gas. What do you guys think about natural gas prices right now? I'm like, I feel like Scooby-Doo.
We've got an awful lot of natural gas. We got so much of it, it's overwhelming the demand for it. Even with all the LNG demand coming from Europe, we have such a richness, abundance of natural gas in the United States. It's truly incredible what's in these shale plays. It's amazing.
It's awesome. I mean, here you've got everybody back here. Got a lot of wells reworking and putting them back online here in the Barnett, and so it's just awesome to see, because we are the Saudi Arabia of natural gas, and so for all of us to be back out here, and for a lot of guys to be back out working, it's a great thing, because what are we trading at today? We're less than $4. Is that correct, Stu?
Yeah, 335, I think.
Yeah, 335. And so I think maybe we brought back down to reality a little bit. But hey, if we could get back up to 5, that's always a better number. But hey, that's just me and the investor. Yes.
We got about 5 more minutes here, but I'm going to tell you a football joke, and then I'm going to turn it around to you guys for the last one. Back in high school, a bazillion years, Moses and I played high school together, high school football. But I came around the corner one day, and Coach Kramer absolutely was laying on the locker room floor laughing. I've never seen coaches that have their own language. I mean, means run 30 laps. And he was laughing so hard. And we had one of the football players was huge, but his head was so big that he tried to special order a helmet from Rydell. Rydell sent the box in, and I'm right there as the coaches were opening it up. And there's a note in there from Rydell, and it said, if the helmet does not fit, use the box. So, RT, if your hard hat does not fit, use the box that it came in.
I thought your joke was going to be about my Dallas Cowboys last night, but no, that's but that was a good one right there. Now you always got to be safe.
RT, give us your last word and don't put your head in a box.
Oh man, no, just everybody stay safe out there. Follow the rules and regulations always out there that the great state of Texas, the United States has, and the commission of the railroad here in Texas, and we want to stay safe. But looking forward to another great week. I think we're going to get a little bit more cold here in Texas, but so everybody be ready for that. But thank you guys as always, and thank you to our listeners out there.
Hey, RT, real quick, how do they get a hold of you?
Oh yeah, they can definitely reach me. I got my LinkedIn, which is Rey Trevino III. You can also find me on www.thecrudetruth.com, and you can reach me there as well. And be on the lookout for a new episode with another big operator out of Texas this week on the Crude Truth.
Nice, well done, Mr. Blackman. Coming around the corner, what do you got for the last word?
Well, I guess for my fellow Dallas Cowboy fans, you have my condolences. Pray for a different quarterback somehow for next season. And, be careful out there. Try to stay warm. Apparently, we're going to have another big cool front here in a week or two, and it's going to get pretty nasty again. So everybody take care of yourselves and your family, and we'll see you next time.
That sounds great. And I'll have your contact information in the show notes, and we will have that chart. And are you picking your nose, RT?
No. I wanted to say just one more thing real quick, and I mentioned it last week at the end of the show. For anybody that's going to NAPE, please be there Wednesday morning. For David Blackman and Doug Sheridan will be speaking. And I'll probably say it one more time next week, but it'll be Wednesday morning next week at 9 a.m. that they'll be speaking at NAPE. I'm not trying to advertise for NAPE. I'm just advertising for David. And I'm looking very much forward to that. To their discussion next week. So I just
should be fun. Yeah. Hopefully I won't say anything too stupid.
That's
no,
my
you
job.
will.
That's
Yeah.
my job, guys. I claim the stupid one. So, hey, guy, thank you for our fans. Hey, I'll tell you what, and I'd like to say thank you to my compadres here. Our numbers are blowing through the roof on listens. So thank you all very much. And subscribe, like, and pass this word along to your friends. Talk to y'all soon.